St. Valentine's Day, the global celebration of love, is just around the corner. In an ever-changing world, this is one event that has seen a lot of transformation over the years. Finding true love used to be like finding the missing piece in your puzzle. Once you discover it, the picture starts to look a lot clearer. Some even say true love always triumphs in the end, which may or may not be a lie, but the burning question is whether love comes with a price tag. In the rose-tinted glasses world of today, love is not possible without sacrifice, neither is sacrifice possible without love. But in today's stark reality, the notion of true love has gone with the wind and been replaced by no romance without finance. Whether we openly admit it or not, the dynamics of the modern world has greatly reduced the time and effort required to sustain a relationship. Patience is no longer a virtue when technology has made everything available at the drop of, let's just use the word hat. Some call it marketing of the goods to the highest bidder. Some men and women now see relationships almost as a business opportunity. They go into it with a certain mindset. What's in it for me? This is just a reflection of the times where the survivor mode has been turned to its highest decibel. The act of searching for financial security has created obstacles for singles, oftentimes eliminating the feeling of love. Truth is that though love and money serve different purposes in life, we require both to survive. One has a higher survival rate than the other. In the yesteryears, it was love. Today, it is shine your eye. Does this mean true love is not enough anymore? Have the curveballs and challenges of today's reality quenched the enthralling notion of love? Does love still hold the same appeal, indeed, in the days of yore?
Very well said. First off, a very happy Valentine's Week to everyone who eagerly celebrates. May you receive all the gifts and intimacy that your heart longs after. Love is the most powerful emotion on earth and the most popular word with deep, vibrating feelings. Congratulations to all those who are celebrating, especially the many that will get engaged, get pregnant, and progress their genuine love. For those who are pressured or pressuring others to celebrate, let's consider the very tough times facing most citizens nationwide. You want to go shopping? There's cash crisis. You want to drive to dinner? There's fuel shortage. You want to enjoy a romantic evening in bed? There's no light. You want a vacation in a nearby city? There's insecurity. Stable countries bring about enjoyable celebrations for majority of their citizens, in addition to partaking in the commercialization of the celebration. Kenya, Ecuador, and Colombia grow, ship, and sell over 250 million roses to the United States annually for Valentine's Day. Nigeria should derive good tidings from celebrating her citizens on an occasion that her citizens love to celebrate. To mark this year's Valentine's Day, there's a short love letter to Nigeria's incoming president. Dear potential love of our lives, current king of our children's future, leadership is pinnacular, which means we need you to be an exemplary leader of love, hope, strength, and power. You may not be the most qualified person as you emerge through systemic regression that we vow to change, but perform your absolute best. Your greatest accomplishment in 4 years will be to show us selfless love that makes you walk around the clock. Intense love that evokes the truth that you are servant to over 200 million people. Pure love that would make you appoint only the most capable and vetted citizens for each and every governmental position. Undying love that will keep you strong and healthy from the joy you derive from seeing progress, from your powerful decisions through happier citizens, most importantly, those in impoverished communities. Love will conquer all for greater Nigeria. Let's watch this special report. Perspectives will be right back.
Across the world, the 14th of February marks a day that lovers around the world go all out to celebrate their relationships. When you start to think of Valentine's Day, you may envision gorgeous flower bouquets, heart-shaped balloons, tons of sweet treats, and sentimental cards that are sure to make anyone blush. Giving red roses may be an obvious romantic gesture today, But it wasn't until the late 17th century that giving flowers became a popular custom. To further emphasize how important the day is around the world, there is a science to ensuring that there are enough fresh roses to go around when it comes February 14. In an effort to provide the flowers for the holiday, countries including Ecuador, Kenya, or Colombia ship the roses to the US and other countries since they do not grow in the colder temperatures we experience in February. However, the act of showing your partner that you love them doesn't mean you should break the bank to do so on Valentine's Day, as little acts of love is good enough to show your intentions. These days, people are being put under unnecessary pressure to go all out for their partners on the 14th of February. Some now believe there is no romance without finance, as social media has made the pressure worse, with people comparing their relationships with others. But as we celebrate this year's Valentine's Day, with some economies around the world struggling, or with the latest cash crunch in Nigeria amidst limited access to the naira due to the uncertainty around the cash swap deadline, would it be harsh for anyone to feel pressured to go out of their way to surprise a loved one? Ikena Kingsley, Arise News.
So yummy. But there's a point that Ikena said there that you don't have to break a bank to prove your love to somebody else.
Absolutely.
And I really feel sorry for the young men of today, the ones that don't have sugar daddies that is paying their bills, or the ones that don't have... Men? No, well, I'm talking about young men. If you compare the young man to the young woman, the woman has a lot more opportunities to meet different types of men that would spend money on them. But the young men, who are the people providing these opportunities for them? And then what even makes it a bit more sad is that it's the act that should count, not so much what it is that he gives you, but the act of itself should count. And in my days when we were much younger, even the cake was more than, we were happy with it because it showed that we were being loved or we were being appreciated in our little minds in those days. But in Nigeria today, now shine your eye matter.
I think with the way women are clamoring more for feminism, independence,
well, that's the irony of it.
Valentine's has become sort of equal, mutual, and it's just between two people. And if someone gives you something and you appreciate it so much, you are inclined to also say, okay, I want to give back too.
What, in this Nigeria? Are you talking about Nigeria or you're talking about England or America? Or
in Nigeria too.
Yes, but the people who believe that are in the minority, sadly. Yeah. Do you understand? Because I'm a firm believer in if you expect something from somebody, what are you yourself bringing to the table? Exactly. But I mean, somebody say, oh, because she's her age, I mean, she's an old woman, what will she say? But the matter is, nowadays, a lot of these young women just expect their looks alone to be their selling point. So when a man gives you, I agree with you, when a man does give you a present or something on Valentine, it's only natural that you should reciprocate.
Right. But you know, there are some sugar mummies out there who are also buying cars for their Valentine this season. True.
They are sugar mummies.
Him happy.
But I'm talking about those ones that are doing it for genuine reasons, not to get anything back in return. If you're a young girl of 28, 29, or 25, or whatever, or early 30s, and your loved one gives you a present, you should reciprocate. It shouldn't be automatic that, oh, he should give me A, B, C, D, E. But unfortunately, in the Nigeria of today, so much pressure is being put on these men, especially on this Valentine's Day itself, as if it makes any difference. Do you understand? There's so much pressure being put on them, and I think it's really a bit unfair. Because they are facing the same challenges that everybody else is facing.
I think it's the competition out there and the commercialization of the day itself. So there are so many people putting things in other people's faces. Yeah. Oh, this is the surprise packages that we are doing for this person.
Putting undue pressure on their peers.
This person got this person got a bouquet of money, this person got balloons. What are you getting?
Social media doesn't help.
On social media, you're looking like,
my God.
What's my boyfriend going to give me? What's my husband going to give me?
Social media doesn't help. And I think social media has generally downplayed the importance of love and has diluted the deepness, the depth of that word. Exactly. Do you understand? It's now, how much are you giving me? What am I going to buy? How am I going to post my present on social media? And then a young girl who is in love with her boyfriend, who is trying to make things work or trying to, forge a path for himself, sends her a bouquet of roses. She's not happy.
Yeah, but let's also understand that majority of the national wealth sits with men. And that's part of the issues we continue to face in Nigeria. Men hold majority of the power, 65, 70% of positions. And women are now trying to clamor for that or hold on to a man, a godfather, a sugar daddy, a husband, something.
Yeah, but you just mentioned sugar mommies too.
Right.
They too also have access.
The minority.
Exactly. Right. They're the minority, but they exist.
They exist.
They exist.
Absolutely.
Do you understand? But my point is, I miss the fact that love has now become so. I miss the fact that love is missing. I miss the. I mean, you call it wearing rose-tinted glasses. Call it, you know, delusional. I miss love. I miss the institution of love.
Do you think there can be true love in transactional sex?
Well, the truth of the matter is that I would not. At this age, I don't think I would date a man or be with somebody who is going to have to live off me financially. But that's because I'm at this age. Do you understand? Now, if I was younger, I would look at somebody who can be bringing something to the table, just like I am bringing something to the table.
Okay.
I would look for potential.
Okay.
I would look for promise. I would look for the availability of growth.
Okay.
I would not at 25 expect that my husband should already have a house in VI or in Ikoyi, or he should be driving 5 cars, or he should be able to pay for my holiday abroad, blah, blah, blah. Because if I'm marrying somebody who is in my age bracket, how would he have that opportunity if he's not born into wealth?
Right, so there should be a level of understanding.
There should be a level of understanding, but I don't expect a woman my age at this point in time to be waiting for one man to come and change her life. Because I think you have reached your evening, and by now you should have set a path as to how the rest of your life would be, financially, emotionally, and what have you. So any man that you are with is with you for your intellect, it's with you for your character, it's with you for your confidence, it's with you for mental stimulation.
Right.
Do you understand? Encouragement, support, friendship. It's not that, oh, at this age, oh, if the man doesn't buy my ticket, I can't travel.
But you've attained a level of success that gives you comfort.
Yes,
so many
and even if it's
that
not,
haven't, even at that age, even much older.
Well, who are you going to blame?
And are still someone.
Are you going to now rely on a mind to change your life at that age in your evening?
Some do.
Yeah, well, some do, but they're not in the minority, and that's most of them. Most women are delusional. Truth of the matter is that you should be able to pay your bills at this age, as opposed to when you're in your 20s or 30s and you're still growing.
When you face economic
hardship,
that's all right. Leave all that when you spend money to send your children abroad,
yeah, but everybody does it. Other people do it.
And you go through.
Yeah, but other people do it. You cannot wait for one human being to pick that tab. Other people do it. You walk, cut your coat according to your size. Other people would love to have men that can do this for them. But if you don't have these men or these messiahs that will do this for you.
In our country, you struggle.
Exactly. Everybody else does. But anyway, we're heading for a short break, but stay with us because we'll be right back with our distinguished guests. The delectable voice of the Lagos airwaves, Adebanjo, and seasoned creative artist, Shuaib. Perspectives will return in just a moment. Welcome back to Perspectives on Arise News.
It is now time to introduce our guests to join us in discussing love and Valentine's Day, starting with Shuaib, a creative artist and designer. His brand is Shuaib Designs. Adnan started designing kaftans for the famous brand called Emmet on Kings Road in Chelsea from 1995 to 2002. Then came his brand called Maisa, based in St. John's Wood, in partnership with Ivor Santoria, before he relocated to Lagos and started a bespoke unisex footwear company called Shuaib in 2017. Welcome to Perspectives, Adnan.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, with us here is Adebanjo, a quintessential creative woman. Her experience cuts across marketing and communications, television and radio broadcasting, singing, writing, speaking, coaching, and event planning. Wow. For 7.5 years, Ronke graced Lagos airwaves as one of his favorite on-air personalities on Smooth 98.1 FM. She has hosted and co-hosted several television shows where she discusses relevant topics on love and relationships that appeal to both men and women. She is fondly called the love activist by friends and fans, but she considers herself as simply a love and relationship enthusiast. Ronke has always had a flair for passion and bringing people together, and that passion led her to launch the Social Prefect, a platform she has used to create, host, and promote networking events across Lagos. Love host. So you're obviously a seasoned, as in you have all the answers.
I'll try.
Or speak down. That's good. So good to have both of you.
Thank you.
Now, Adnan.
Yeah.
There were some things you said before we came on air that I dared you to say again now that we're here.
Yes.
And you specifically, what was it again? But you've particularly spoken about how women have become so mercenary in this generation, and you gave examples. So you are a single man.
Yes, I am.
Do you understand?
Yep.
So what are the challenges that you face as a single man when it comes to women in Nigeria?
And expatiate on what you said earlier.
Well, I think my experience with Nigerian women is actually a bit different to most people because I lived most of my life abroad in England. And I actually didn't come back home for a very long time. So by the time I came back home after like 16 years, I noticed that everything had changed. From my first week in Abuja, I knew that the dynamics had changed when it came to women in Nigeria. Because I remember when we were young, when we used to come on holidays, meet a girl, give her a call, take her out, have dinner, and if she likes you, life goes on. But when I was in Abuja, I now noticed that, first of all, by that time I was nearly 40 years old, and most of my friends were married, they had kids and everything. But I now noticed that everybody had a girlfriend. All the married men had girlfriends, and most of the girls were like 15, 20 years younger than these guys. And one of the things that surprised me was how confident these young girls were amongst us.
Well, confidence is not the word you use, if I remember.
No, but they were comfortable sitting
You
among...
used the word starting with G, called greedy.
Yeah.
You're coming to that?
So, you know, these are very confident, you know, young women who could sit with us, you know, despite we're much older than them, have conversations and everything. But it was the level of greed, the level of materialism, the level of, if you want me, you gotta give me as much as I want.
Oh, wow.
And I was in shock, you know. But after a while, like everything else in life, it becomes normal. You get used to it. But deep down inside you, it's a bit scary because if maybe you're a successful businessman, you're single, you want to settle down, you meet a few girls, the first thing that you ask yourself is, why is she here? Is it about my money? Is it about my name? You know,
but do all men ask themselves that question?
But it's not. Yeah, but I think it's even worse for, and this cuts across everywhere in the world.
Okay.
When successful men are always targets for younger women. I don't know what's happened in the last 20, 30 years. And I just came to the conclusion that, you know what, maybe it's best I remain single for a while because their expectations is way beyond what I can deliver.
Would you say it's a money issue or you just did not fall in love?
No, it's because I'm not used to forking out the dough. I'm a hardworking guy. I'm not a contractor. I've got my own business. I work hard. I have financial discipline, and I just didn't want to go broke because what these girls wanted was I got a phone call one day from a friend of mine. She was actually a friend of mine. I was not after her, and she said I need $5,000. I'm thinking to myself, 5 G's? Where's this girl coming from? And she was a fashion designer like myself, very successful, owned her own factory in Lagos, owned the farm. Where her factory was, she even owned the building. And I'm thinking, if this girl, and she's a beautiful girl and everything, I'm thinking, if this girl could just think it's normal for her to ask me for 5 G's, USDs, I just calculated, man, how many items am I going to sell to get $5,000?
No, but at the end of the day, are you saying that even as you are now, it's almost impossible to meet somebody that primarily you like her, she likes you,
and she's not about the money?
No.
Financial transaction.
No, it's not impossible.
Okay.
Nothing's absolute.
Exactly.
There's always a way out. And in the end, everything depends on you, the person as well. What are you looking for? Who do you hang out with? You understand what I mean? So maybe sometimes, like what I did is after a while, by the time I started experiencing Nigeria, I actually withdrew myself from society. And I became, I'm actually an extrovert, but I actually became an introvert. When I started going to, after a while, I stopped calling my childhood friends in Abuja.
Why?
Because what I wanted for my life and how I wanted to be as a human being, I'm not saying I'm right, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but for me it was just totally different from...
Okay, but can I ask you though, have you met, over the time that you've met, have you had relationships that were not financially focused?
To be honest, nearly all of them have been financially focused, but maybe I just liked the girl, and maybe what she was asking for was just not too much. Okay. And I just thought, this is how it goes, man.
Let's bring Roke into the conversation.
No, but in your case now, for instance, you're financially independent, you're hardworking, and so have you found that your expectations has now been limited to just a certain circle? Because I don't know, would you date a man that you have more money than, for instance?
So I think money isn't everything,
I know it's
but
not
money
everything,
answers
yes.
all things at the same time. As a financially independent woman, I think nobody, like they say in Yoruba, nobody wants a liability and nobody wants to suffer. I think a financially independent woman is looking for somebody who can match her or at least be a few steps ahead. Because every woman wants a man that she can admire, every woman wants a man that she can respect. And let's be honest, right? If you have money, you can be respected. But I don't think that we're asking for too much. I think that if I'm bringing something to the table, I expect you to be doing the same.
But do you think there's an increasing percentage of our population, women who are greedy, like he said, who are just asking for way too much?
There's definitely a level of greed. And I want to bring an interesting perspective from the angle of who are the men that are feeding this behavior that we're seeing in our younger women, right? We talk about the fact that these are men who are financially stable, right? And so they're making it harder for the younger guys who are coming up.
Exactly.
Because the girls are going to these older men who can give them whatever they want, and then they come back to their level, and then they find that these guys can't meet up
You're not good
to
enough.
the older women. So the men should be having a conversation with themselves, because the older men are making it harder for the younger men who really want to settle down, if you think about it, right? So the people who are giving out all this money are making it harder for, maybe not him, because he's much older, but for the younger guys who are just coming up and saying, listen, I don't have a house in Banana Island. I'm hardworking. I'm making my way in the world.
And they have potential.
And I have potential, but I'm not 55 or 60 with 10 children, and I've made I've made all of my money, and now I can give you whatever you want.
But sometimes,
so there's a level of greed.
Sometimes I wonder whether, not that I wonder, I know social media is also part of the reasons why this pressure is so strong. Because, I mean, come on, 20, 30 years ago, you would date a guy who was earning God knows how much in the office as you were, and then you now grow to build a brand and a future. A lot of these self-made men that you see today were not born rich. A lot of them are self-made, and they have partners who grew with them.
Exactly.
Okay, some of them replace the women with younger models and what have you. But the truth of the matter is that social media has made it almost even encouraged the fraternization of sugar daddies. I think it's a thing of pride. They even have, I don't know what they call it, medicines or whatever, that you can use to get more money off men.
Kayamata.
And they have, what's it called?
Kayamata.
Exactly.
Kayamata.
Kayamata or whatever. But does that thing work, by the way? That Kayamata thing.
It ain't gonna work for me.
No, I'm just curious. Because
can I say something? You know, I don't think we should, it's not really 100% that it's about the money. Because you have to look at it from the law of nature. Okay. You know, it's only, you know, and I would like giving the example. I told Ruth this yesterday when we spoke on the phone that, you know, you have to look at the lion and the lioness in the jungle. You know, the lioness is going to go for that lion. Not the most charismatic, not the strongest, not the biggest lion. She's actually going to go for that lion that give her security,
it still
look after
the same
cubs,
thing now.
and then be able to provide. So in a way, I do understand that, look, and you have to know as well that we live in a third world country. That's a reality, where there are no safety nets, where government is going to do nothing for you. And it's only natural that any woman really wants a good life. Basically 24-hour light, security, and means of transport. It's different when you're in Europe, whereby if you don't have a job, the government will give you something. If you don't have a house, if you want to go to university, you can get a loan. But these things do not really exist in the third world countries. So in a way, these women that come from, I can't say poor backgrounds, because even the wealthy women are greedy as well. I mean, materialistically as well, you know. So in a way, we have to be very careful weighing in terms of that we're in a third world country. We're a very poor country, really. And even the percentage of wealthy men that we're talking about is really less than 0.1%.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I still believe that the ratio of girls and sugar daddies today is much higher.
Oh, no doubt.
Than before.
Yes.
I mean, in those days, if you brought a car home, your parents will ask you where you got it from. Now, your mother will tell you your mate is driving to so and so. And what are you doing, sitting at home, not doing anything? I mean, you were telling me last night about some woman who was calling a man.
Oh yeah,
about her daughter.
That's a true, yeah.
And that was a true
that's a true story because this
the girl had been trying to reach him. You said
this girl had been trying to reach this guy for a very long time. He knew what she wanted. He refused to pick up the phone, and her mother actually called him and told him that, look,
and married man, right?
Yeah, married man with children and everything in his late 40s, And her mother called him and goes, look, my daughter's been calling you and you're not picking up the phone. And the guy was shocked.
There's a level of greed, but I think it's also this idea of status, right? We are very status-driven in Nigeria. That's why we even have something called I better pass your neighbor.
Yeah.
Right? Even if I'm poor, I must find a way to be better than you.
Yes.
And so this is what fuels that greed is, it doesn't matter what level I am on the socio-economic ladder, I must be better than you, and the end justifies the means. It doesn't matter how I get it. For a mother to be calling a married man to give her daughter money, it just shows you how low
that we have gone.
Things have, you know,
so I
how
don't
low
think it
we've
just has to do
gone.
with
Unfortunately, it's just that poverty that has gone past several generations.
Yeah.
Imagine a mother who saw her grandmother struggle, saw her mother struggle. She has struggled and has been unable to make ends meet. And then she sees that neighbor that is better past you doing so well, and the daughter was, you know, elevated through a sugar daddy. And she goes, my daughter, I've suffered for so long. This is the only example of victory I have. This is the only success story that I have.
You've thrown morals out of the window.
No, but
in other words,
that's the only way forward that you found.
And to your point about social media, it's all curated content, right? It's the highlight reels that we're seeing.
Yeah.
You can book a flight on a private jet, take pictures and get off the flight. It's not going anywhere. You know, just so that you can pretend to be
There's a place in Lekki like that, right?
Yeah.
There's a place in Lekki where they have the private.
Yes, and so this is what is fueling. This is also what is fueling. We're not making hard work look good anymore.
Yes.
We're not making women who rise, right?
Yes.
We don't. I mean, I saw the picture of one of my Ebgons from back in the day with her husband, and I'm thinking, if you see them today, you would never believe where they've come from. But how many girls are ready to
go that
build,
long,
right? When you see the highlight reels, everybody's life seems amazing, and I want a cut of that, I want a bit of that, so I'm willing to do whatever it is. It's greed. I think to some degree it's laziness, and this is not a knock just on women. I think our society as a whole, we've come together to create this, I don't want to call it a mess, but to create this thing that is not benefiting us in any way.
Illusion of grandeur.
Illusion of grandeur.
But can I quickly say something here? We used to watch a lot of Nollywood in the early days when it started coming out, you know, in England on TV. You know, people used to bring it on the CD and we used to watch it. I think Nollywood played a big part in women thinking that, you know what, you mean this can happen if I meet this guy? I can get this car.
Yeah, but isn't Nollywood the reflection of the times?
Yeah, it is a reflection of the time. But you have to understand that. You
just
know,
like social media.
No, but you have to understand that in most places, when you're going to watch a TV with your kids, you're going to watch a movie or something. There's PG, parental guardian. There's 16. There's 18. But most Nigerian homes, a 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, her mom or parents are watching this Nollywood movie and they're sitting down. These kids.
That's not fair.
These kids have no. It is.
Remember that film? So
these kids have actually grown up.
Okay.
Watching these movies, and then after a while, they start believing these things. And I think that's really what's really happening.
What's that movie with Richard Gere? Pretty Woman. Pretty Woman too was one of those rag to riches stories. The girl was a sales assistant, met this rich billionaire. I mean, it was very popular then. So I don't think it's fair.
It's not just from your neighbors that you're seeing these things. It's in Nollywood.
And Nollywood is a reflection of what is happening in
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
And a lot of influencers today, I mean, they say live those kind of lives. And they flaunt it. So they'll travel, take pictures of all the bags and the goodies they came back with and put it all over social media. And people who have not been able to attain that kind of success are like, oh, what do I need to do to get there? And that's what they're learning from.
So in other words, really, social media also had peer pressure.
Oh, no
Huge.
doubt. No doubt.
But I've also spoken to a lot of women, or rather spoken to a lot of men as well. And I still find it a bit of a difficult pill to swallow, but apparently men like it when you come across as helpless.
Yes.
They prefer it. I'm asking you, a man, when the woman is like, you know, my rent is due.
Really?
What can I do? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Or like maybe your rent is due, you've already paid it, you won't even ask.
Yeah, but
So do men actually prefer... Does it massage your ego when women come across as helpless?
You know, I'm a bit embarrassed to say that you're right.
Are you
I've
serious?
definitely heard that before.
Men do take advantage of women who are in those kind of financial situations. You have to understand that, you know, a lot of these things that we're talking about really has to do with morality. And, you know, and everybody has a right to choose what they think is morally right and what is morally wrong. Our society in the last 20, 30 years, things have really changed. You know, what's morally right is now acceptable and not just in Nigerian society, it's across the whole world.
Okay.
And religion as well has to do a lot to do with it. Because 20, 30 years ago, I don't think anybody's going to, no imam or no pastor is really going to ask for your money and all those kind of things. You understand? So everybody is now asking money from everybody. And it's now become acceptable. Does it make sense what I'm saying? So the men just, they do take advantage.
So are you saying now, if a lecturer says to you, oh, my darling, I need money, please, blah, blah, blah.
My co-host says
and then I now say to you,
Yeah.
I need money, or, well, if you can do it, fine. If you can't do it, then forget it.
Apparently some of them like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so who would you be more, who would you be more receptive towards?
In terms of the emotional one or...
No, in terms of the emotional one, or the one that has used emotions to ask you for money, or the one that has made it clear that whether or not you bring it, it's fine. But if you bring it, yes. If you don't...
Maybe I'm not the right guy to ask that kind of question because I ain't going to lie to anybody, man. I'm a hardworking guy. I've got my own business. I built it from scratch, even though I do come from a very wealthy background. But you have to understand that our parents passed away a very, very long time ago, and most of the wealth disappeared. So we had to start from scratch, and we built ourselves up. So when we've gone through what I've gone through, and then I come from a polygamous family as well. Our father had loads of wives. So, and I knew that a lot of these young girls and everything, they married him for his money. So I've had this experience that, you know what, it's just really about the loot. It's really about the money. I've known that since I was a very, very young child.
Okay, we have to take a break. But you haven't quite answered the question yet.
I
have one for you.
Who do men tend to lean towards?
Oh, the emotional one, because she's vulnerable.
Because she says she's vulnerable, doesn't mean that
she's sharp.
Oh, that's what I wanted to know.
She's sharp.
Anyway, we'll be right back. We haven't quite finished this discussion yet. See you in a moment. Perspective. Okay, we're still here with our beautiful guests, Adnan and Roke. Of course, as usual, you brought us something very interesting while we were So please relate that story. You said you cooked dinner.
Well, basically what
for
happened,
a girl.
Yeah, basically what happened is like this girl that I liked. I was even thinking of maybe, she could be the wife. So she came to Lagos. Took her to my house, I cooked her dinner. I actually went to the supermarket first, bought everything we were gonna cook and everything. And then cooked her dinner. After I cooked her dinner, I washed the plates. Then I have this garden that I did from scratch. Went to the garden, showed her my beautiful garden, my flowers and everything. And as we were leaving, she was saying, what's all this?
She said what?
That what's all this? What's going on? Why'd you cook? Don't you have a cook? And I said, of course there's a cook, but I thought, it'd be more romantic if I cooked for you.
So it was lost on her?
Yeah, she couldn't just get it. She was going to say, what kind of guy is this guy? And I knew that, man, I'm in trouble with these girls.
But you also said something about the man that gives women roses.
Yeah, there's this proverb that men who buy women flowers, perfumes and chocolates and take them out for dinner are the kind of men that all women want. But there's just one problem. They're serious philanderers.
Not all of them.
Yeah, not all of them. No, nothing's absolute.
I don't think it's all of them. I think maybe for Valentine's Day, yeah, because it's so commercialized and most people are giving gifts not because they really want to. I think for me, what do you do on the 365 days or 364 days is what's more important than what you do on 14th of February. There's going to be a lot of traffic. There's going to be a lot of stress, I think for me, it's not about the gift giving.
Yeah.
You can't throw a blanket statement on that. I wouldn't agree with that. I think that for me, it's about the other things that you're doing aside from Valentine's Day. It's just a commercial. Let's give it to the vendors. It's just a way to make money. But what are you doing? And what are you doing that's not even related to money?
Exactly.
We focus so much on the money aspect.
I was just going to ask that.
What are we doing that's not... Love, actually, is more give than it is take.
And sacrifice,
right?
too.
And it's a lot of sacrifice, it's a lot of commitment. And that giving is not even about money, right? It's about giving your time, giving your resources, giving your shoulder to cry on. There's so many other things that, after a while, money loses its novelty if you're in a serious relationship and other things come to bear and you start to wonder, is he just throwing his money at me?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Is he just throwing his money at me, or is there more to this relationship?
But I was going to ask you, especially, I'm using you now to represent, the average woman and what have you. If the guy is not really, because they say you have your pros and cons. You write down the good things and you write down the bad, and then you weigh. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So if you meet a man who is very romantic, not chauvinistic, very understanding, very supportive, and supports you in everything that you do, and he has your back, but he's not quite as financially comfortable as you would be comfortable with, would you consider that other factors?
So why is he not financially where he needs to be? I think that's the question to ask. Has he had a bad patch? Is there something going on with him? Is he lazy? Is he hardworking? Is it the economy? 5 years ago, what was he doing? Why is he now here? some of these things you have to drill down. It's not, it's not easy to just look at it on the surface and say he has no money, therefore he's
you would have done that.
But let's say it's the economy.
So let's say it's the economy. So is he hardworking? Like, look at his history. He's hardworking. He has vision, right? He has plans. But he's not just a talker, he's a doer. You can see the action behind the plans. We all know what the dollar is saying. We all know what the pound is saying. You know what I mean?
Maybe something affected his business somewhere.
So I think look at him still giving exactly. Listen,
Nigeria affected his
business. Nigeria is Nigeria.
So would you give such a man a chance?
I would. I mean, I think it's a holistic view of, because listen, you can be in that same position.
Yeah. She's romantic.
I am a romantic. But you can be in that position.
Who knows, maybe.
But I think you have to look at it holistically, because at the end of the day, nobody knows how the tide will turn. Nobody knew 2020 would do what it did, right? So you have to look at it holistically, because you could be in that position, right?
And you also
don't want
said
somebody to look down on you.
Women are greedy. women. Somebody
it looks like these really
$5,000. Would you get married someday? Do you still believe in love? Would you date a Nigerian woman for marriage purposes? Do you see yourself falling in love?
Oh yeah,
with a Nigerian woman.
Oh no,
wow.
No, because it's not really good to use Adnan as an example, because my upbringing and my life and everything intertwines.
Hey, but regardless of that, you just give me a lady.
Yeah, but I think
the lady didn't say whether she's up. She didn't say whether she's up for grabs.
No. I'm saying you exist.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say.
You exist.
But
doesn't care about money.
You see, my life.
Not that she doesn't care about money.
My life
is not the main focus.
No, I will not be really good for the average Nigerian woman.
Why?
Okay. Because I'm a very laid back guy. So money is not really my own main objective in what I do in my life
in
and how I live
today?
my life. Yes, because I'm lucky until I don't pay rent. I've got my own brand. I'm single.
Yeah, really marketing yourself.
And isn't there a woman out there that just wants to get yourself?
I think there are a lot of women.
I call myself, I'm a lazy businessman in terms of I have a target. If I can hit my target in 4 months, I ain't gonna do anything for the rest of the year. I just chill.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? And
wow, that's a luxury a lot of Nigerians can't afford.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that, it's not good to use me as an example. And then I'm not really necessarily a money-oriented kind of person because of maybe what I've seen, what I've experienced myself, my friends as well, what we've seen. You see, I think Nigerians, their perception of money is not really for me how it is. How I understand this, you see, I tell my friends, I really don't understand. I see it like they're hoarding money. I know people that they have billions and billions or hundreds of millions, and I see them as hoarders. Just they have all this money in the bank. You know what I'm saying? And I wonder. I asked them, so what do you guys want to do with this?
Okay, want to say something?
No, to the point about not marrying a Nigerian woman, I think you need to focus less on where she's from and more on what is important to you. Because there are a lot of amazing women in Nigeria.
I believe so too.
Who are not money hungry,
who
are not motivated by money.
I'm not saying absolutely.
So my point is,
I don't get attacked by
like a bunch of
I'm not saying everybody. I have sisters, man. I have 12 sisters.
Exactly.
I'm not saying everybody.
Somebody might
You know what the truth is? I have to be honest to say that I know I can't handle a Nigerian woman.
You can't.
Wow, you can't.
Yeah, I just know. I know myself. And I can't handle them.
Out of 200 million people, there's no one that you can.
No, that's not fair to say that.
You can't handle a particular kind
of. No, that's not fair. That's not fair. I don't even try.
It's a particular kind.
I don't even look. I really don't try.
Okay, can you explain? Can you explain what particular kind of woman you don't think?
I think that you might be looking in the wrong places.
Okay.
I think you need to focus more on your values. You need to focus more, maybe you're in the wrong circles, I don't know. You need to focus more on what's important to you. And that will drive you to the right places where you meet the right kind of people. But to say, because she's Nigerian...
it's not absolute.
I'm sure he has met so many people.
It's not, look,
from experience.
I come from a big family, man. I've got 12 sisters.
It doesn't matter, there are 200 million
I'm a sociable guy. I'm a fashion designer.
Yeah.
So most of the people I know are women. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's just that I've assessed the situation, I've assessed society, I've assessed in-laws, I've assessed all those kind of things, and I go and I tell myself, they're beyond me. It's beyond me.
Fashion industry, though, there's a corporate world. There are other places that.
No, when I say fashion industry, I'm just trying to explain to you that I do meet people.
I still think you're.
But I just don't.
Do you think that what the average woman expects, demands, is too high for you to meet?
not that it's too, not that
Because that's the way it sounds.
No,
Like
not that I cannot meet it, but it means I have to change my ways. It means I now have to work for 10 months in a year or 12 months in a year.
Right.
It means I have to make more.
It requires a lot of money.
You know, not that it requires enough money. Like I told you, like I have a target for the year. I know what I want. If it's possible for me that target in 4 months.
But what if you're
not
married?
a partner, then it becomes...
But what I feel is like, you know, when I meet these girls, I
budget
talk to them, what they
increases.
do and what and everything. It means that I have to change. It means that I have to, you know,
But
I
you're
have
going
to
to
work
have
every
to.
day. I don't want to go to
But
work
you're
every
going
day.
to have to at some point, by the time you start having kids.
No, yeah, but you know, I
And they're
have
more
savings. I have things that are
responsibilities.
going to take care of that. But I don't want any woman to come into my life and then, you know, and then I have to go to the office every single day because of madame. She wants to do this. I have to make more money because of. I'm not. I ain't
Well,
gonna
like
do
she
that for
said,
me.
you are going to have to
Unless-
make more money.
Exactly.
When you start a family unit, you
No,
are
that's
going
what I'm
to
saying.
have
That
to
it's
make
not.
more
I'm not
money.
that naive or ignorant not to have
Yeah.
savings, not to know what I'm doing. I do know what I'm doing. I mean, I do know what the bills are. I do know what school fees are.
Okay.
I know those realities.
But you don't want that
Obviously,
added responsibility.
No, not that I don't want this. Like that's what I'm saying. I do put things away. You understand?
Okay.
But I just know these girls that they're going to want more.
These girls.
When you say more, I mean, what is more?
More basically is, you know what I'm saying? Maybe she's tired of that car. Maybe she's tired of that car that's 3 years. That's 3 years old. She wants another one. Maybe she wants an upgrade from business to first. Maybe she wants that bag to be a better bag. Maybe she wants a dozen Hermes.
Again, not all
look, man,
women
I ain't going to.
like
Thank you. What if a
Again,
gentleman
not all
that doesn't
women
have
like
any
that.
of
I like doing
She
business.
just wants to make you happy.
Yes.
I like doing
Not all
business.
women
On
like
a
that.
laid back.
You have an idea of
Are
the
you
kind of
exposed to
woman.
this kind of girls because of the business that you do?
No, because
Because from
We all
what
grew
we're
up together
saying,
now.
there are many
we all
girls.
grew up together.
If
We
we
all went
find
to
you a
school together.
gentle,
So come out of your circle is what I'm
Are
saying.
you willing to be matchmade with someone who's opposite
Not
of what
one
you
that
have
you ask for
described?
Let's not even get on the matchmaking.
No, exactly.
Let's not even get on the matchmaking conversation.
Definitely not one that will
Yeah.
dance you for $5,000.
Am I?
Because maybe you're not looking.
Okay,
Can you
Can you
describe
describe your
your
ideal
woman?
woman to
Describe your
us?
ideal woman.
Can I tell you what happened? The other day I was watching on TV.
No, don't tell us your idea. No, describe your own ideal woman.
So
Yeah.
like Condoleezza Rice.
Ooh.
Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah.
So then you're clearly
What's
not
the
looking in the
attraction?
right circle.
Man, because I was actually watching her the other day.
Okay.
I've been fascinated by. I'm fascinated by powerful women
Physical
like
and
Michelle
mental.
Obama.
You're contradicting yourself.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I know I have a right to two opinions. It doesn't have to be complex.
Because he's saying
No,
it's the right
Those
thing.
expectations will be high.
No, let me
You're
tell
gonna
you
have
why.
to work 10 days a week. How about that? To be with Condoleezza Rice.
You know what happened?
I
Yeah,
mean-
I have this lawyer, and this lawyer tells me that look, Adnan, she believes that I'm a bit too laid back. This is my lawyer. She's a woman,
I think
and she
she's
believes that I can
acceptable too.
achieve much more in anything I want. You know, so she feels if like I need a strong woman. So I've always been fascinated by strong women. Like you know,
By the same time, you don't want any demands from them.
Exactly.
no, they can take. No, they're all right. They take it themselves. Life's so good. She can wake
I
up
get
at
it.
7.
So that's
she
the
can go.
bottom
She
line.
can
Not
wake,
dependent
no, she can
on
wake
you.
up at 7 o'clock in the morning and go to her work and keep on.
Now
running and
we've hit the
everything.
nail on the head.
No, you haven't made.
Would
the-
you be okay? Let me not
Got
bring
it.
that up.
No, go on.
So
Oh,
now
no,
we've
you don't
hit,
make-
we've hit the
that
nail,
makes
nail on the
sense.
head. You
No,
don't
you
want
don't.
a woman who is dependent on you. You just said she
No.
can go to work and make her own money.
Okay, you know what?
And I'll just be at home working 4 days a week.
Describe the woman you like. You said Condoleezza Rice, right?
Yeah.
Now, why do you like a Condoleezza Rice?
Because I see she's a woman of authority. She has this aura of power. She's an intellectual. I watch her documentary all the time. I mean, I actually watch her speak. I listen to her wordings. I mean, I like intellectual women. I like women that can converse. We talk on different matters: history, psychology,
Right.
finance, banking. Because I'm well read. You understand? I read a lot of books. So I like this kind of, I like those kind of interesting women that can have interesting conversations.
And
for
you live
coffee,
happily ever
hold the newspaper, just walk, and we're talking intellectual talk. Oh, I just read this. Those are the kind of women I'm interested in.
And they exist.
As long as they're not financially
They
demanding.
exist
No.
in Nigeria.
Yes.
They exist. They're everywhere.
Yeah, it's so good.
He
Man.
hasn't yet
You don't
worked.
sound convinced.
That's so good.
No, but you don't sound
Have you heard of
convinced.
He doesn't
Ilwad?
sound
Have you heard of Ilwad Elman?
Yes.
Ilwad Elman is a young Somali woman whose sister they were Canadian Somalian, and she went back to Somalia, and her sister was in charge of, I think it was Netball Association. They started from scratch to help the refugees, the poor and everything. And Al-Shabaab wasn't having it, and they blew up and they killed her. And Ilwad said, you know what, I've got to do something about this. And she went, in her early 20s, she went back to Somalia, and she started girl rights. She became an activist for girl rights, peace, and all those kind of things. And she's been voted that time she was under 30, like Time Magazine, Women Under 30, peace activist. she's an exceptional woman.
Just like the Indian girl.
Yeah, she's a doer, a go-getter.
Give us a Nigerian example. You've given us US, you've given us Somalia.
That's a difficult one.
Nah, don't put it in the title. No, but my point is...
No, yeah, there is actually. No doubt.
There are quite a few, but my
No,
point is...
there is. I did meet a girl in Abuja.
There are quite a few.
I was shocked, actually,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, in terms of...
But my point is, she is a living example. I mean, we're talking about them now.
Yes.
She's a living example of a woman who's financially independent, a woman who can be accommodating if her husband or partner is not exactly at the point where he should be, depending on circumstances in Nigeria and what have you. And I think it's a bit unfair for you to paint all women in the same brush. No. Just like we will not paint you in the same brush as all the men who use women.
No, when we speak about different
I think
things,
you've been a bit
topics,
harsh.
It's not absolute.
I think what we want to hear you
Nothing
say is that those
though.
women exist in Nigeria.
No.
Just accept it. We want to hear you say it.
That which woman?
That the kind of woman that you're looking for exists in Nigeria.
Like a what?
And he was about to give
like
an
Melissa
example.
Rice?
Yes.
Yes. Do they
Yeah,
exist in Nigeria?
I've met.
Because what you want is a boss.
I've met
met
one in
two.
Abuja.
I've met two.
Exactly.
And they happen to be
Okay.
both lawyers.
Okay.
So they exist.
You like strong women?
He likes strong.
The one in Abuja was, I was actually shocked because she's a lawyer by training.
Okay.
And she's very religious. But she went to school, like us, she went to school in England at the age of 7, so she has this Western perspective as well. And what actually amazed me was she actually went to retrain on trauma and depression in the Nigerian society, because she noticed that a lot of Nigerians keep a lot of things inside, especially women, especially northern women, so that there are a lot of these women. You see, when people talk about this money, look, the biggest lie that the devil is giving to Nigerians is, you know what, be rich, make all this money, and you.
Yeah, but we know the money is not the answer.
It's all a deception. So basically, what this woman has done is people are actually traumatized. Women are traumatized in our society. And so she went back, she retrained, and if you see the people that actually come and see her, it's actually very sad. I never knew that Nigerians, are actually going through so much trauma in our society.
We do.
I mean, there's a lot.
Anyway, there's so much to discuss on this matter, but I would like, Ronke, for you to have a closing statement towards this, because I think I was thinking that all of us...
I'm going to switch on my phone when I leave this.
But my dear, you held his own. Not only that, you have controlled the conversation.
Inshallah, man.
What do you mean, inshallah? You see? Masochist, I mean, what's that thing now? Chauvinism comes into play.
No, there's no... Look,
No, I'm only joking.
No.
But anyway, Ronke, what's your last take on this?
I think everyone should just be true to themselves. Be clear on what your values are. Be very clear. Don't mince words on your values.
Yeah.
Be clear on what you want. Be true to yourself. Like you mentioned, is beauty everything? Beauty is fleeting.
Yeah.
Everything loses its novelty. So what is going to be the anchor for your relationship is what is important, and I think is what you should focus on.
Do you guys all agree that women should also have something?
And I do agree. I think that every woman should lead a purposeful life. At the end of the day, you can live off a man's money, but at some point in your life, you might be young, 20, 21, 22, you think you can get all the money you want from all these different men. But at some point, you want to be able to hold your own.
Yeah.
You want to be able to feel like you're making a sensible contribution to society and that you're making something of yourself. Right, and it's not just solely based on somebody's money, right? So live a purposeful life, because that's what's going to count. We're all here for a reason. That's what's going to count ultimately, and that's why a lot of people feel empty, because they're not living with intention. They're not living purposefully. Money is not everything, right? And love should not be transactional.
Yes, and men, it applies to men too.
It applies
men
to
that
men
come
as
and
well.
take you, use you for your own money. You have to shine your eye and be
and
more.
love is more give than it is take.
Yes.
And there's so much more to love than money, right? When the going gets tough,
The tough get going.
yes, and where is the money can help definitely, but you're gonna need somebody who can be an anchor, who can be a shoulder to cry on, and all of that.
Absolutely.
So,
Thank you so much.
Nice.
thank you for having us.
Okay, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And I think we should have another open discussion outside.
Outside
here.
love.
Yes. But thank you so much
Thank
for
you
being
for
with us. We really enjoyed your perspectives on
Thank
this
you.
issue
Thank
called
you.
love, and we hope.
But can I say a last thing?
Go on.
I think,
Make
you
it
know,
quickly.
Valentine's Day was actually a bishop in Italy who used to marry, because in Italy, like in AD 300 AD, and basically what happened was like slaves and soldiers were not allowed to get married. So this bishop used to marry them in his garden, and he used to give them flowers.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
So that's Valentine's Day for you.
Hello,
Anyway, thank you, folks.
Thank
for
you very
being with
much.
us.
Thank you.
So whether it's health, money, a loving relationship, material things, accomplishments, a job, or anything at all, the desire for happiness is always everyone's bottom line. And though it might seem that money is everything, just count the things that you have that money cannot buy. Wouldn't it also be nice if people were like money, so you can just hold them up to the light and see which ones are real or which ones are fake? Anyway, remember and never forget, life is a learning curve. That's all we have time for today. You've been watching Perspectives here on Arise News with me, Ruth Osime.
And with me, Olatorira Majakodumi Oniru. Thank you to our guests and to everyone watching Perspectives worldwide. My wish for you this Valentine week is your wish for yourself. I hope you push your dreams and attain your highest potentials. I also hope you get all that your heart desires. Happy Valentine's week. Enjoy a week of love and gratitude. See you next weekend. Goodbye.